Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of my sort of football podcast with me, WHU Pulse. Now for the first episode of Geezer Goal Gossip, that's the name of the podcast is going to be called. The reason why it's called that is one, it's because there's going to be 4 people normally on the podcast. Won't start until next week, but that is when it really gets down. It's called Goal because it's football, and it's gossip because it is me and my mate going to be talking about the recent footballing events that happened in the previous week. Now, in the first episode, we are going to go through the Community Shield, the EFL, some transfers, and my predictions for the first games of the Premier League season. Now, hope you guys enjoy the first episode of Geezer Goal Gossip. And to kick it off, we have got the Community Shield final. Now, this match was played at Wembley on Sunday, yesterday, because I'm recording this on the Monday and it's going out on the Tuesday, as all these episodes will be done. In that game, Manchester City played Chelsea, with Manchester City becoming the winners 2-0. Now, in that game, we saw what Mauricio Sarri was going to be like as Chelsea manager. We saw Pep Guardiola. We saw a couple of youngsters in each side. Not both managers weren't really taking it seriously. But we're going to chat about what happened in that game and what is going to come forth for those teams in the upcoming Premier League season. Now, me personally, in that game, I really did like the performance of the young Phil Foden, the central attacking midfielder for Manchester City. He got an assist to set up the goal scorer, who scored 2, which was Sergio Aguero. As you can see there, he did get an assist, with Bernardo Silva getting the other one. It was a goal in the 17th minute and about the 50th minute as well for Sergio Aguero. But Foden set up the first one. He takes it nicely past a couple of Chelsea defenders and passes in Aguero. And Sergio Aguero, the finisher that he always is and always has been, that was his 200th goal for Manchester City. And considering the amount of times he has been injured, it is ridiculous. That guy can score goals for fun. And again, if he doesn't get injured, he would easily win nearly every single Golden Boot every year. That's just quite simple. That really is what would happen. But he played well. Got 2 goals. The assist coming from Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden. The second goal was caught on the counter. Manchester City won the ball back, broke with pace, and set it up for Sergio Aguero again. And Pep Guardiola's side looking very good at the moment. Now, as you can see on there, I've put the one of the headlines as Chelsea look lackluster. Now, the reason why I put that is because in that performance, I didn't see anything that impresses me. They need a striker, Chelsea. Alvaro Morata, they need to sell him. He's just not that Premier League striker that they had with Diego Costa a couple years ago. They need that world-class Premier League finisher because Alvaro Morata only had 1 shot in that whole game. That just proves how bad the Chelsea going forward are. And Sarri, they didn't look defensive all there as well. They're going to start, I'm guessing, with what he played in that cup final or the Community Shield with David Luiz and Antonio Rudiger at the back. But to me, I don't feel like that they're all there, Chelsea, personally. I feel like they're going to struggle this year. And that's why in my predictions video, I put them 6th. But then again, they could easily struggle very much and drop down that league so much and not break into that top 4. Or even at this rate, if they carry on performing the way they did. I know it's Manchester City and Pep Guardiola's got that side playing beautiful football. But they need to start going, Chelsea. Like, they had a very poor end of the season under Antonio Conte. Yes, they won the FA Cup, which got them into the Charity Shield. But in that performance, I didn't see anything spectacular. And to me, I believe they've appointed the wrong manager in Mauricio Sarri. I feel like they should have gone out and got another manager. I don't know who else, but they needed to go and get another manager, for me personally. Now, Manchester City looking unstoppable because, again, they won the league with 100 points, record. Most goals, record. Best goal difference, record. They broke every single record. If they're going to win the Premier League again, it won't be as good as last year. But they do look unstoppable. Yes, all right, they lost to Liverpool a couple of times last year. And they lost to Man United. But they lost, 2-3 games last year, did Manchester City? That is very, very, very impressive to go win a league. So they do look on fire, especially with the signing of Morris, who did play well. They've got a goalkeeper to come back in because they played Bravo in the cup final. Didn't have that much to do, so wasn't tested. But Edison would come in. Their defence is looking solid. John Stones, Kyle Walker coming back from a good World Cup for England. Benjamin Mendy's finally fit as well. So it all looks good in the city of Manchester for one half at least. And I'll get into Man United later on in the video, or later on in the podcast, technically, if you can call this a podcast. But overall, a good performance by Manchester City. It was as the Charity Shield always is. It's a game that not many really people care about. It's basically a glorified pre-season friendly in my eyes, just against two top-tier clubs. Manchester City looked good, as I've said. Chelsea look like they need to improve. They've got 3 days, as I'm recording this video, to improve that squad. Courtois still may be leaving, so I don't think they'll be able to go into the season with Willy Caballero in goal. But they have got 3 more days to do some transfer business in the league. And to me, Chelsea do need to do a lot of business. Moving on into the English Football League, which kicked off this weekend. Now, I will just say, in the podcasts coming up, I will not be running the EFL part section because that is not my strong point. And I'll have 2 of my mates really go for it because they are interested in the English Football League. But as you can see, I've put the headlines from each division, what I feel like is the main talking points. Now, the EFL kicked off on a Friday night with Derby versus Reading. Paul Clement as Reading manager and Frank Lampard as Derby manager. Derby scored a 94th minute winner to make it 2-1, and Frank Lampard to win on his managerial debut. Something like that. But we have, as I was talking about, Frank Lampard wins on his managerial debut with Derby County. To me, it was a good game. Tom Lawrence scoring the last-minute winner in the 94th minute. But there was some good football played by Derby there, and I do feel like they're a strong contender to go up this season. For me, they're going to be up there at least playoffs, but Frank Lampard, I feel like, will make a good manager because of he's got great tactical awareness of the game coming from that central midfield position, playing for teams like Chelsea, like Man City, coming through the academy of football that is West Ham's. But he will be a very, very, very good manager in my eyes. Now, as you can see there, Brentford thrashed Rotherham 5-1 to make them go top of the table after one game. They absolutely battered Rotherham 5-1. Rotherham coming up from League One last year. So they need to improve, do Rotherham. Obviously, it's the first game back in there, but I just feel like Rotherham are a club that are too good for League One, but too bad for the Championship. If that makes any sense. Like a Norwich, really. No, not Norwich. Norwich a few years ago is the way I'd put it. A yo-yo club. But Brentford were looking good in that. Neil Mapai, the French striker, scoring a couple goals. Playing well. He's always been on the scouted as one of the most potential best players from that division, or when he played at St Etienne. But now Brentford's got him. Brentford looking good in the first game of the season. But time will tell, as it was only the first game of the season. And the third headline from the Championship, Leeds looking dangerous. Marcelo Bielsa is now manager of Leeds. I don't know how they've got him, but in that first game against Stoke, they played well. Stoke looking a bit rusty, obviously still feeling a bit down from getting relegated from the Premier League. And there's still uncertainty with players like Jack Butland, Ryan Shawcross, if they will move back to the Premier League. But they did bring in Benica Fobel and did bring in Tom Ince, so I still feel like Stoke's squad should still be good enough to challenge for the title in the Premier League, in the Championship, because Stoke were considered favourites before that game. But they still will be. It might just be a blip. But we never know in the Championship. Any one of the 24 teams has a chance of going up, as it is so unpredictable. Leeds are looking dangerous. They scored 3 goals. Yes, all right. One of them was via a mistake by Jack Butland. But they looked dangerous playing. They played nice football under Bielsa. And I feel like Leeds won't go up this year, but will at least get into the playoffs, I reckon. But then again, after what they've done after the past few seasons, I personally think Leeds should be happy with that playoff finish. Heading down into the division below in League One. The main headline from League One over the weekend was that... Hang on, I'm trying to get the scores up so I can... Oh, no, this is going horrifically, boys. But yeah, I'll go through the... Sunderland went and beat Charlton. 2 goals to 1 even. So, yeah, 2 goals to 1 with Lyndon... Was it Masha or Lyndon Gooch scoring that last-minute winner to give Sunderland their first win in League One. Sunderland have to go up this year, otherwise that club will go into free fall, personally. They need to play well. Otherwise, they're going to struggle massively. Obviously, on there, Burton lose 2-1 to Rochdale. Burton obviously going back down to League One from having a couple years in the Championship. For me, I do like Burton as a football club. They're small, so you're always going to root for the underdog. But they lost 2-1 to Rochdale. And I feel like Burton, if they don't improve of what I saw on the highlights of that game, defensively at least, they won't be bouncing back up. And Barnsley, another one of the relegated sides from the Championship, dropped down to League One and absolutely batter Oxford opening day of the season 4-0. Don't ask me who the goal scorers were. I haven't done that amount of research. But they're looking good, Barnsley. Again, watch the highlights of that game, because I do watch the Football League Tonight show. But they look dangerous on the break. They look good defensively as well. Barnsley could be in for a good season, and for me, they're my tip for the title even before that game. Dropping down the division into League 2 now. Crewe and Forest Green with big wins in League 2. Crewe always look dangerous. Forest Green struggled last year, but could always try and improve as a football club. Yep, Crewe beat Morecambe 6-0, and Forest Green beat Grimsby, if I can find that result. Hello. Yeah, Forest Green beat Grimsby 4-1 away from home. Bear that in mind. And the 2 promoted teams from the Conference National League, whatever it is called now, Macclesfield lost 3-2 to Swindon, and Tranmere got a 2-2 draw with Stevenage. Now, the teams that will go up from the conference, one of them does particularly well, one of them does particularly bad. For me, I feel like Macclesfield could be up there, and then Tranmere might just be mid-table, chilling, because they've obviously come back up from the National League. So maybe they can improve a little, but if they can, then it'd be nice to see Tranmere go up and try and get back up that League 2 table. Another shout out that I do want to make out is Lincoln City beating Northampton 1-0. The Crowley brothers are good managers. Lincoln got to the quarter-final of the FA Cup 2016-17. So, there are good managers, are the Crowley brothers. West Ham fans, so I respect them for that, my boys. But Lincoln could be dark horses this year. I reckon might get playoffs. They did get playoffs last year, but then lost in the semi-finals. To me, Lincoln are looking good and dangerous, but we will see, obviously. And now, to finish off the EFL segment, obviously this wasn't my forte, but I'm trying my best. But we'll just run through all the score lines. Now, in the Championship, as I've said, Derby beat Reading 2-1. Then we have Birmingham 2, Norwich 2. Brentford beat Rotherham 5-1. Bristol City and Nottingham Forest drew 1-1. Ipswich and Blackburn drew 2-2. Millwall and Middlesbrough drew 2-2. Preston beat QPR 1-0. Good win there. Poor result for West Brom here. That should have been in the headline section. But West Brom lose 2-1 to Bolton. Wigan beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-2. And Sheffield United beat Swansea. No, Swansea beat Sheffield United. In the Sunday game played yesterday was Leeds beat Stoke 3-1, as I have said. And tonight is Hull City versus Aston Villa. Should be a good game. I'm going to predict a 2-1 win to Aston Villa. Now, for the League One scores were... Sorry, I'm trying to use my phone here to get the scores. Yeah, this is all going to be live com. Everything's going to be left in. Hope you guys enjoy it, so it's going to be raw. But the Saturday games, there were only Saturday games played in League One, was Sunderland beat Charlton 2-1, Accrington 0, Gillingham 2, Barnsley beat Oxford 4-0, as stated before, Burton lose to Rochdale, as stated before, Scunthorpe beat Coventry 2-1, AFC Wimbledon beat Fleetwood 1-0, Peterborough beat a good friend of mine, Bristol Rovers 2-1, and the guy who supports Bristol Rovers will be on the podcast. So, yeah, leave them comments below. Take the piss out of him. Portsmouth beat Luton 1-0. Shrewsbury, who won my tip to go up, lost to Bradford 1-0. My second team, if you want to call it, Southend, lost 3-2 to Doncaster. Walsall beat Plymouth and Wickham beat Blackpool. Now, we go to League 2. If I can find it. League 2 results were as followed. We've got Bury beating Yeovil 1-0. Crawley beat Cheltenham 1-0. Crewe beat Morecambe 6-0. Exeter beat Carlisle 3-1. Grimsby lost to Forest Green 4-1. Mansfield beat Newport 3-0. Lincoln beat Northampton 1-0. Notts County and Colchester drew. MK Dons beat Oldham 2-1. Port Vale beat Cambridge 0-0. Beat Cambridge 0-0. Beat Cambridge 3-0. Stevenage drew 2-2 with Tranmere. And Swindon beat Macclesfield 3-2. Now we head on to the transfer section of the podcast. A nice lovely section here of the latest transfer rumours and done deals. Now, the three main deals that I have found out recently were Vidal has gone to Barcelona from Bayern Munich. Burnley have finally made a signing of Ben Gibson, and that is a very good signing personally. And Leicester have brought in a replacement for Riyad Mahrez called Rashid Jazel. Now, Vidal to Barcelona is a big money move. Might work out, might not. I think Vidal would suit La Liga football, but we will never know. Ben Gibson has bought in. Burnley finally needed to add cover into that centre-back position. They've now got Tarkowski, Ben Mee and Ben Gibson to choose from a centre-back. For me, I would go with Tarkowski and Tarkowski and Ben Gibson at the back. And the other player is Rashid Ghazel. A move to Leicester from Lille, I do believe so. If I've got that wrong, please let me know. But they've tried to replace Riyad Mahrez, who was a quality player. Maybe we might not know if he will be as good, but we will never know. Now we have got the transfer rumours that involve my club, West Ham United, being linked with a £5 million move for Arsenal striker Lucas Perez. Now, I feel like this would be a good move for West Ham. We need a striker. Lucas Perez has never got an opportunity in Arsenal, and Arsenal fans do rate him very highly. He's just never got the opportunity. The one underneath that, Jerome Boateng to Manchester United, is one that was broken today, actually, but I don't think it happened because I doubt very much that Jerome Boateng would leave for Manchester United. One underneath that is Joe Hart to Burnley. Burnley need a goalkeeper. Pope's out for a long time, Heaton's out for a long time, and they need a goalkeeper. They can get Joe Hart for around about $5 million. Yes, alright, his wage demands are high, but people do forget he is still a good goalkeeper. Yes, alright, he has the odd mistake in him, but who doesn't nowadays? He's English, so he'd come in, fit into that Burnley setup. So they are the main ones that I've seen, but I've got this app on my phone, which I'm going to go through some transfer rumours, which I see which are interesting. And one being Yerry Mina to Everton. It has a whisper rating. Well, the app is Football Whispers, so if you want to go download it, use it. This isn't a paid promotion. My channel's so small, no one will watch this probably, but I'm saying that's the app I use for my transfer rumours. Yerry Mina to Everton, the guy who scored 3 goals for Colombia at the World Cup, is a good centre-back who would fit in to that Everton defence quite happily. They do need a new defence, Everton. They've already signed Lucas Digne. They've signed Richarlison for ridiculous amounts of money. Still don't get that. But if they sign Yerry Mina, their defence would be good. They've got a great goalkeeper behind him in Jordan Pickford. So we never know. Another one that has just caught my eye is Jack Grealish to Tottenham. Now, Jack Grealish is a young English attacking midfielder slash winger who for the past couple of seasons has been playing for Aston Villa in the Championship. But for a £40 million deal, I don't think he'd be worth it. He'd suit Premier League football, but I don't think a side like Tottenham should buy him. I think he should go to a sort of stepping stone club, if you want to call it that, where he moves from Villa to a so-called lower side tier or lower tier English side, as in like, or in the Premier League, so maybe like a Newcastle, no offence, Southampton, maybe somewhere like that, to then make that step up to the top 6 clubs. But this is the Premier League. Anything can happen. Another one that is catching my eye is, where was it? Obviously, let's talk about Thibaut Courtois quickly. Not quickly, but a good Belgian goalkeeper. He wants to return to Madrid, reports are saying, and Real Madrid are very interested. Courtois' agent is trying to push this deal through from the Chelsea end, so Courtois will move to Madrid, and that means Chelsea would have to go out and buy a new goalkeeper. And at this stage in the transfer window, I don't know who they get. Obviously, what doesn't help is that English clubs' transfer window shuts like 3 weeks before the season starts. No, 3 weeks before, 3 weeks before the other season starts, or other transfer window shut in other countries. So I'd keep an eye out on that one. And the final one I'm going to talk about here is, I've just seen this one, is Marcos Rojo to Everton. Again, they've been linked with Yerry Mina, but Marcos Rojo was a good defender. Obviously scored the goal that got Argentina into the World Cup quarterfinals. Bit rash in the challenge, but we will see. Other honourable mentions that are going to be on the transfer talk is Yaya Toure at Fenerbahce, and pardon me. And obviously this deal has probably already gone through by this video goes up, is Mario Balotelli to Marseille. They are the honourable mentions of the transfer talk section. But coming up now is the Premier League predictions. We're going to see how we do here. Hopefully we can get some right. Maybe not. But we're going to go for Premier League predictions. The first game, Manchester United versus Leicester. Before my predictions will pop up on the screen, I'm going to talk about my opinion of Manchester United for 20 seconds. Manchester United are good defensively, horrific going forward, but that is all due to the manager. We now have the predictions up on the screen there. they are my predictions. I'll talk about a little bit of all of them. Manchester United beating Leicester 2-0. I feel like Friday night football always comes up with a good game, and I feel like this will be no other. Yes, I did just say Manchester United are terrible going defensively, but if he plays Marcus Rashford or Romelu Lukaku, then I feel like Manchester United will be able to break down that Leicester defence, especially with the midst of Harry Maguire possibly moving to Manchester United. So I reckon this will be Paul Pogba's season to finally light up the Premier League, and we'll see how that one goes. On the Saturday games, the lunchtime kickoff is Newcastle-Tottenham, a repeat of the first game last year. I've gone for a 2-1 Tottenham win. Yes, alright. Tottenham haven't signed anyone, but they are still a good side. Yeah, I don't think they'll play to their best potential because of not having a full squad. He's apparently said that Harry Kane and Dele Alli and all the players that went far into the tournament of the World Cup won't play, but we will see. Also, the reason why I've predicted for Tottenham to win that match is purely because Newcastle just haven't spent. They just haven't gone out, spent money, and that is mainly down to Mike Ashley, their owner. He is one of the worst owners in football, in my opinion, but he just hasn't tried to do anything with that Newcastle side. So, now, possibly one of the biggest shocks I've put on there is Huddersfield to beat Chelsea. Chelsea have always struggled first game of the season. They won't play particularly well under Sarri, I believe, and obviously they're going to be still trying to find their way out, but Huddersfield will nick a result against Chelsea in my eyes. We never know what happens in this Premier League, but Huddersfield, I reckon, will just get that early goal and shut up shop to defend, and as I've said, Chelsea won't be able to find a way through that rugged Huddersfield defence. The game underneath that is Bournemouth-Cardiff, and I've predicted a 2-2 draw. Bournemouth normally do play well opening day. Yes, all right, they lost to Villa when they first came up, but they gave them a bloody game. But Cardiff, yes, I predicted them to go down, but I reckon they will get a point opening day. I reckon it'll be a topsy-turvy game. I reckon it'll go 1-1, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1. So it'll be like that, not one side come back. But for me, it's going to be a good game. Opening days always throw up a good game at least. And I reckon that could be a very good game. Underneath the very good game is Watford-Brighton. The bore draw. The only one I've actually gone for on the opening day of Watford-Brighton. It's Javi Garcia against Chris Hughton. That's all I've got to say. Plus the fact it's Watford-Brighton, not the best teams in the world, not the highest scoring sides in the world. Watford look like to lost all their creativity with Richarlison now gone, but I do still have that young midfielder, Will Hughes. We never know. I've predicted 0-0 draw. Let's see if I can get some of these right. But I just feel like none of these sides will light up the Premier League. I did predict Brighton to go down. They'll get a point on the opening day, like I said, but we will see as normal. Game underneath that, Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 0, a Schürrle double, I'm going to say. Fulham have made some excellent signings. Lamarchand, Seri, Schürrle, Mitrovic has come back, Alfie Mawson's coming at the back. They look a good side, do Fulham. And I did say they'll finish 16th. They look a good side. Palace, I said, will go down. The only reason why I put them there is, yes, all right, they might have Zaha, first game of the season, and until January. But I don't feel like if they sell him, they're definitely going down. If they don't sell him, he won't be able to carry that side at all for me, because he's the only guy in that side for me who can score goals, bar Milivojevic from penalties. Like, name me an attacking threat that isn't like Zaha that score goals for Palace. Game underneath that, good game now. I reckon it's going to be. I reckon it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Wolves coming up from the Championship, topped it of course, but we will see in the Premier League as per usual. See how they do. I reckon they will be dangerous, but We never know. I hope it's going to be a good game. Southampton-Burnley on the Sunday, one of the Sunday kickoffs, because the other game underneath that is an early Sunday kickoff. Southampton-Burnley 1-1 draw. Obviously, Burnley just brought in Ben Gibson. I'm going to get confused about that all season. Sean Dyche is a good manager, probably play 4-4-2. Burnley do seem to struggle away. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. They played very well away last year. It was the season before. But, again, Burnley won't set the world alight like they did last year. I said they'd finish 13th. I reckon that'll be an okay-ish season. Obviously, they've got Europa League to focus on. If they get through that, then that's fair enough. But the squad they have just isn't deep enough for the Premier League and the Europa League. Now, underneath that, I've predicted game of the opening day, Liverpool 3, West Ham 3. I don't know if that's me being biased, but Liverpool, let's start with them. Alisson, good goalkeeper, but prone to mistakes like all goalkeepers. Defence, they still need that centre-back to play alongside Virgil van Dijk. Midfield, they've got a good midfield trio of whatever they pick. Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Keita, Henderson, Milner. They've got that choice to choose from. Up front, the Lightning. Shaqiri, Salah, Firmino. I'm missing one. Mane. There it is. But they are going to score goals. That is why I predicted them to score 3. But I have also predicted West Ham to score 3. Because I really do feel like it has been a good transfer window for us. Obviously, there's still a couple of transfers to come in because there is 3 days left of the transfer window. We're going to be bringing in some players. So are Liverpool, possibly. I'm not so sure. But Felipe Anderson, Arnautovic, Hernandez, Yarmolenko, Wilshere. I just feel like we're going to play well. Obviously, I think we'll play the 4-3-3 with Rice, Noble and Wilshere in midfield, and they're going to shut them down. I don't know if that's me being biased, but I really do feel like that is what might not be a 3-3, but I reckon it'll be a draw. So, and then the biggest tie of the weekend, of teams-wise, was Arsenal versus Manchester City. Arsenal look to be setting for a good season for me. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, I've tipped possibly to be Golden Boot winner if he can get past Harry Kane and Salah, but Aubameyang has always been a consistent goal scorer. He will score Arsenal's goal, but I just feel like the quality of Manchester City will break him down. Jesus will score, Sane, Sterling, people like that. But we will see in the Premier League, as it is very, very unpredictable. I don't know why I've done my predictions, but they are the predictions for Week 1 fixtures of the Premier League. As that is done, that brings the end of the podcast. I hope you guys enjoy. Obviously, it was just me rambling on for 30 minutes, or 35 minutes even. But yeah, next episode will include a couple of mates, definitely 2 other mates, maybe 3, as that is what it will be when the podcast actually gets properly running up. Just wanted to make that one because I've always said that it would start on this day. Thank you guys for the support on the channel so far. That Premier League predictions video is absolutely booming right now. I have to applaud all of you. Anyone who's new to the channel who's listened to this, come drop a sub on the channel. This is going to be coming out every week on a Tuesday. It's going to be good. And it's going to be about football banter. Is what it's going to be. But, hope you guys enjoy. That is the end of the podcast. And, as always, I'll catch you later. Goodbye.